Hello, Vluran, and welcome to your deck review. For those of you joining us on YouTube for the first time, this is a series where I, Maldhound, will calmly and politely take a look at your PP. Your PP being your deck's premise and practicum. Your premise is the idea behind your deck, what you hope it does, what it gets to do when the thing is happening. Your practicum being what did you actually put in the deck? Does it help you achieve what you set out to do in the premise? And despite what you may think about my biases against cards, I try to own up to those. I'm not going to yell at you for playing green. I'm not going to yell at you for playing Sol Ring. Now, if you are a dirty Jeskai Artifacts player, I swear to God, I'm kidding. These are available on my Ko-Fi, which is linked in the description. They go on sale every Sunday. There's a very expensive option to buy one on demand now. We do a free one every Wednesday and Sunday on my stream. So without further ado, this is batteries not included. Now, the primer is pretty simple. Step 1, make an army. Step 2, ... Step 3, profit. We're doing Kaith, who is a Jeskai 3/3. We get to make a counter or make a creature, and all of our non-token creatures also have Fabricate 1. We can also tap her to populate or proliferate. So it seems like the goal is, well, I'm going to slam out non-token creatures, right? And by slamming out non-token creatures, I can make a servo every time. Eventually, that army is going to be big enough to win me the game. And now you also said the deck works. It's good. It just feels like it could really easily be stronger, and I want to do that in a fun way that isn't sticking a bunch of unfun removal or stacks in it. You don't have to worry about me recommending stacks because stacks is weak and bad. For removal, we'll see how much you have. You may have, quite frankly, you may have what I would argue is an amount of removal that is unfun because it is so low. Like for me personally, when you get to the point that you can't interrupt somebody else's game plan at all, outside of like one board wipe, that kills a lot of my fun. Because then it's like, oh, we're not even fighting. We're just kind of like standing 10 feet apart, seeing who can yell louder. But we can dig into that more later. In terms of easy ways to be stronger, I'm going to say this now so that I don't get lost too in the weeds later. The easy ways to be stronger, and what a lot of like weak decks who feel like they could be stronger, the trap they fall into is too many people try to pick 99 different good cards for their commander deck. It is honorable and virtuous. It gives a lot of love to the singleton nature of the format. The reality is the format has not been singleton in practice for a long, long time, if ever. So what I'm probably going to do here is recommend to kill a lot of your darlings where you're like, but that's a good card. And it's like, yeah, it is. But we want, even if we take out the 34 lands you have, we don't want 65 cards that are all pretty fun to draw. We want 20 cards that do amazing. We want 20 cards that support those amazing cards or make sure we draw them or protect them. And then we want 20 cards that will fuck up my opponent's day. Those are not hard numbers. That's just kind of the gist. You don't want to have a bunch of like, oh, well, this card is like always good whenever I draw it. Those are like, if you've watched Moneyball, the analogy is a 5-tool player. This is a term for like an all-arounder in baseball. You want cards that are fucking great at the one job they do. They don't have to be that great at anything else because we're also going to be filling our deck with like draw or tutors or other ways to stall the game until we can draw the thing we need. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hell yeah, bad anthems. That's what I'm talking about. This is pretty close to what I'm talking about. Now, these are not all bad cards, right? Like +1/+1 and Vigilance, hey. Let's go. Go. But you probably need to stack multiple of these before you're going to have a lethal board. Now, once you stack multiple, oh boy. Oh boy, is the board going to be lethal. But when it comes to, well, I want to win more games, which is not the end-all be-all. You want to build an army. You want to feel like it's an army. I would be in the business of cutting the weaker ones for stronger ones. And I think the bar here is probably like, we got to get +2/+2. You should have chump blockers. I don't rate vigilance that highly in this deck. You have 42 non-token creatures. You are making an extra creature you make an extra creature per creature. If you need vigilance to stay alive, something else has gone terribly wrong in deck construction. So I would rate Tempered Steel pretty highly. I would rate even Sid pretty highly because your commander's an artificer, right? Yeah, so this is +2/+2 with Sid on the board. Leader's fine. This is +0/+1 in vigilance at the beginning of combat. Choose a mount. That can't be relevant. I refuse to believe that's relevant. So we have a couple high performers and we have a couple low performers, but they're all fun. The way you make this deck better is, hey, the low performers die immediately. And you don't even have to... The obvious answer is, well, hey, did you know? I almost typed in Crackerhoof Behemoth. Hey, did you know Moonshaker Cavalry will kill people with a wide board? Like, Moonshaker Cavalry is one of the correct options. But if you don't want to play cards that are so widely recognizable, a really underrated thing is just like, ah, man, that's a low performer. Well, now your Impulse. Now your Impulse, you are anything that can support the high performers. Like, if you don't consistently get Kaith out on turn 3, which we want to do, most of our strategy flows from having Kaith on the board, unless we have a lot of other token makers I don't see here. You could be a Mana Rock. Hey, get me my commander hence. And that is the kind of mental approach I take when I'm trying to tune my decks higher and higher, is I only want to keep the really high performers, and then I want to change the low performers into a support team for the high performers. We have BOGO triggers. Very cute. I mean, we have an activated ability we're going for every time. Yeah, Roaming Throne, fucking good card. I hate it. Greedy but good. Unless we have a lot of legendaries or a lot of artifact creatures. 15 are artificers. These are all, depending on your legendary count, this might be fine, might not be fine. I don't want to spend 2 minutes trying to get into the math on that. This is another thing where I would class as like kind of a low performer because we're spending 5 mana to get the first copy of this ability. Right, versus, who's this guy? Indestructible token doubler, and you're like, but I can't copy the proliferate. It's like, yeah, but I think 9 times out of 10, the more relevant mode for you is making additional bodies, because once you have a really wide board in Jeskai, it is like perfunctory to turn that into damage. Putting the counters on these guys, getting the anthems on these guys, that's like not hard. It's like, dead. You are dead. You're done now. You can Tears of Rage. You can Graz. And like, this is a big over-the-top finisher, so it's more in line with like Craterhoof Behemoth than with a more mid-range value engine-y thing. But I would pick out Battle Mage as a low performer. Zerda's a relatively low performer. Like, it's just giving us the mana to populate or proliferate. And quite frankly, I think if we're relying on tapping Kaith, also something else is going wrong, because we have so many creatures we can just run out. I feel like with a little bit of flicker, we're gonna have enough creatures. Like, it may also be, we may have a little bit of a Lego obsession going on. Another really common thing in Commander is I want to build to way more overwhelming force than I actually need to end the game. This is really common in RPGs. If you've ever played something like Expedition 33 or Final Fantasy, and you've gone around doing all the side content until you're so strong that you just one-shot the boss, that is a very fun power fantasy, and it is one of the first things you have to stop doing if you want the deck to be better. If you don't want the deck to be better, who cares? Keep playing the bad cards. Like, bad cards are fun. Doing that big wind-up haymaker is fun. but I would say Zerda and Battle Mages stick out to me the most. All of these are kind of cute. I think Roaming Throne and Enigma Jewel are the highest performers that we have here. And then Flickering. So we have Flicker that costs mana. Flicker that costs mana, but if we have a lot of mana, oh boy. Ooh, okay. A board wipe that'll get us our non-artifact tokens back to hand. That's really cute. Cloudstone's very cute here. Yeah. The token. Whenever a non-artifact. Okay, so our non-artifact creatures can bounce each other, but the artifact creatures we make from Fabricate will not. This is really bad. Oh yeah, this is the low performer far and away. Kaikar, yeah, adorable. Coming back at end step is a little bit rough. Like, you can also make 1/1s with flying, which is not nothing, but you know, inventive iteration. What's up with it though? Where's the kitty at? And then Yorion's a very cute card, but there's like, it does seem like we have gone for cute. I sure love free things. Who doesn't? I dislike this because we can't pick creature. Now maybe enough of our artifacts or enough of our creatures are artifacts that it works out, but like he's not. These guys all are. That makes me feel a little bit better. He's not. No. He is. He's not. Okay. We have just enough artifact creatures that it's like, yeah, you can. And we have just enough non-artifact creatures that I'm like, why? But he can flicker himself. Not nothing. Sure, cheating's good. I'm the man who's gonna burn your house down. This seems strange to me. What's the type on servo? Okay, so there's servos. This feels like we could just 1-to-1 replace it with what's the name of this thing? Collective Inferno named servos. Because doing +1 is good when they are 1/1s. It seems the goal of this deck is to make them not 1/1s, and we're making so many that Convoke spells are extremely playable for us. So this is another just like 1-to-1 swap. You feel better every time you draw this instead of the other thing. That is, of course, assuming that when we play this, most of our artifact-based damage is coming from servos. Sometimes it may be coming from a Turtle Warrior. But either way, I would probably turn this to a doubler before I kept it as Mechanized Warfare. This is fine. You're having a million creatures enter. Yeah, ping them. It's not plagiarism if you steal from yourself, kids. All right. As a lover of this card does suck. Like, it's really fun. It is super expensive. It's very tough to get this going. So low performers here. I would say Extravagant Replication, Prototype Portal, Wax and Shape Thief for sure. Metamorph as well. These are cute cards we love. They are not on the level of like, oh man, I'm gonna win the game for having 8 servos. Oh, I'm gonna copy every artifact spell I cast. I have instant speed protection of my important artifacts. Like, it's Metal Gear Solid, more like Metal Gear Decent, adorable. But this is another, like, this is you're playing this is a jokester card. So that's a jokester. This is a jokester unless you are playing against somebody who uses Gaia's Cradle. I think this is also a pretty bad card. Giving all of our opponents a fresh 7 is like one of the worst things you can ever do. So this is another instance of Hey, is it fun? Yes. If you want the deck to be better, that's an immediate cut. Sure, great card. Peasant Rush. This card's bad. Just clean sucks, for sure. Right, Fabricate, you put it on this creature, right? I can't load. Yeah, on it. Clean sucks. Total dog shit. I don't think Brutaclad's that great for you. It is a token maker, but like... I think it's worse than Ohertak. It's definitely worse than... Hold on. Yeah. It's definitely worse than this guy. Because this just nets us one artifact token every turn rotation, and I've yet to see a token that we would want it to be. Okay, we have 4/4s from Retrofitter Foundry, which is 2 steps removed from our servos. Sure. Searching for one piece of synergy. So we have cute tutors. We don't have good tutors, though. Then we have 34 lands. We don't have any removal. Wait a minute. Okay, yeah, I thought I was blind for a sec. So I think a big problem you have is you can't remove a single thing ever. Unless I have totally missed a tag. Like we can... You control, yeah. We can get rid of a non-basic land, excuse me. And then we can desync, right? We can bounce non-historic permanents. Very cute. Very cute. And then like, hey, tutoring's good. We have access to tutors that just get you the artifact or enchantment you want. Like you're in Jeskai. It's very, very simple for you to go reckless handling, get the best artifact in my deck, go, 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 go. So in terms of the number of upgrades you can do, the number of upgrades you can do is like nearly endless. One thing I think you are missing to have more fun is playing removal. Right now, it looks to me like this deck, its only path to victory is hope that its proactive thing is deterministically better than every other proactive thing happening at the table, which is like pretty definitionally uninteractive gameplay. And I think it creates situations that are like, it's frustrating to lose from that position and frustrating to win, because if you lose or win, it's like, oh well, I couldn't have done anything else. I never had a moment where I could have chosen a different path, because the only thing I was ever doing was playing out whatever I had drawn. So I do think you need removal in this deck. I also think the other ways you make it better is you just taper it down to the stuff that does really good for you, and then you tutor for those things, or you put more draw engines in this deck, because it also seems like we are locked to top decking. Oh no, Thopter Spy Network can draw. But you have it under here as another way to make Thopters. And then we have a little bit of card access. And so if I was going to do a boss rush of like, what are all the low performers that could go and you would not notice their absence? Adaptive, Alacrian, Intangible Virtue, Battle Mage's Bracers, Gandalf the White Zerta, Inventive Iteration, another round, because you don't make mana like that, Lae'zel's Acrobatics, Mechanized Warfare, Foundry Inspector, because you're not storming, Extravagant Hulking, Prototype Portal, Waxen Shape Thief, Beast of Burden, Krenko's Buzz Crusher, Rune Grinder, Brutaclad, Platoon Dispenser. I mean, no, it draws us. It draws. It's one of the only ways to draw cards. Keep this. Dovin Grand Arbiter for sure. Sammy Ship's Engineer. Daring Archaeologist. Ayesha Tanaka. You could cut all of those cards and you would not miss them for a moment. And I think um if you want a list of 1-for-1 upgrades, I will provide those, but I think you would be better off just going back to like the basic vegetables, because it seems like you have the right scaffolding here, but it seems instead of removing the problem stuff that other people were doing or drawing any more of your own cards to respond to when other people remove stuff, we just kind of kept adding in like, oh, well, what is a different fun thing I could draw instead? Which is a fine way to play Magic. It's a very bracket 2 way to play Magic. So if you want this to really stand up to bracket 3 IMO, we have to have ways to support or better capitalize on our high performers, ways to draw them, and ways to, even if we're not going to be heavy on removing other people's stuff, we have to have more ways to like efficiently protect our stuff. Because the flicker can be protective, but we have all of these very, very mana intensive flicker options instead of like ephemerate. Like we have another round, which is $10 billion to cast a meaningful amount of times, versus Brago, where we flicker every non-token creature on our board. So there's a lot of things like that. And there's also just the basics of, hey, Caretaker's Talent. I'm now going to collapse my card draw and my Anthem into the same card. Bing, bang, boom, done. And then I talked about, oh, we could Craterhoof instead. But I think you get there pretty quickly. I just think we need to have a little bit more, we need to be a little bit more choosy. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope this is helpful. And please reach out if you do want a more exhaustive list of 1-for-1s. I just know I told you to cut a lot of stuff, and I don't think it's that you need anything specific. It's just that we need to be less distracted.